Oh yeah, I've got a little bit of time. I have a nonprofit call coming up, so I do want to try to as close to noon as I can. We've got another QA session. Couple updates for you. For those that did not see the email, reminder, starting next Monday, this is the last Friday morning call. You guys got that, right? This is the last Friday AM call. Calls are going to be Mondays at 11 a.m. and Thursdays at 5 p.m. I know we've been running this schedule for like 2.5 years or whatever it's been, and we're going to shift it though because there's so much happening, and we're going to allow you guys to focus more time to execute and less time on calls with me, even though I'll still probably spend close to the same amount of time because I go over. But we'll get you the same content, but we'll do it in a more organized way so you can plan your schedules better too. So you know.
And Wednesday calls still continue or no?
No Wednesday. Wednesday will be Thursday. So Mondays and Thursdays. So Mondays 11 a.m. Thursday Pacific. Mondays 11 a.m. Pacific as they've been, and then the other call for the week will be Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Thursday. Instead of Wednesday 5 p.m., it will be Thursday 5 p.m. So there was an email that went out. Y'all are going to get another email and probably 3 more emails over the next week. But then that's it. Then we expect everybody to write it on their calendar because we don't like to send out a lot of emails. If you send out too many, then nobody reads anything. So when you get something, you know it's probably worth reading because we don't send out much. So everyone's got that, right?
Thursday at, you said 5, right?
Yeah, Thursday at 5 Pacific. 5 p.m. Pacific.
Just switching Wednesday to Thursday, canceling Friday, Monday's the same.
Exactly. Mark Niss nailed it. You guys catch that? Wednesday goes to Thursday, Friday cancels, and Monday stays the same. So, all right. With that said, we got a couple things. I'm going to have Alan share in a minute what he did, but before I did, a couple other updates. Just got off a call earlier today. Denise and Susanna, great job. We've got this individual actually in Jacksonville. So actually, it's a property in Jacksonville. He's from Miami. He's got he really wants to partner with Beyond Living, and so he's gonna take one more week to decide. But if he's in and he's all in, he's got multiple properties, 4 or 5 right now, and he'll keep buying more. And you know, one of the things I wanted to share with this group was it was great because we met with him. He did a virtual tour of the properties one time. That was the first time I met with him. Susanna and Denise met with him prior to that. And we did a tour of his property. And he didn't fully understand all the numbers, I don't think, but then we went through them, and I think he got them. And then we got on the call today, and his first question, one of his first questions was, do you have any properties in Jacksonville that we could go check out and see physically? And I said, no, we don't actually. As I told you before, this is newer. We're launching Jacksonville, and it's okay if you want to wait. You know, we've got this is one of those things where every market we're building out, you can wait, and we can put you on the wait list. But then, you know, you come into the mix as based on the other investors that are before you. So it was so interesting that Alan had just spoken at the Jacksonville Rio yesterday, and I brought that up. I said, I know my team member, one of our members of our team, was actually speaking at the Jacksonville Rio Group because he was invited to come there because the vice president of that association loved it so much. He wants to partner, wants others to do it, and we're seeing this everywhere. But he definitely, they love the model. They want to be involved in what we're doing, and they want to do it in a bigger way and build passive income, make it less work for them because they live in Miami, and they're currently trying to do they're doing a shared housing boarding house model currently with their properties because he was flipping them, and instead of selling them, I think while he was selling, I actually think it's illegal there. It's what I got the gist of, that you're not supposed to actually be doing that in Jacksonville. But nonetheless, but anyway, it was a great call and an indicator. What I wanted to bring out of this is, number one, great job, Denise, and for everybody. This stuff works. Investors love what we're doing. But I want to reiterate the importance of MVP, minimum viable product, okay? Do we have a sample home in Jacksonville that he could go tour? No. Do we need that to be successful? No. We can win people in concept. It's going to be the early adopters. I get it. Do we have all the marketing pieces that you want to have in place all the time? No. But do you have enough to get going? The answer is yes. Alan's now spoken at 2 different real estate investment association groups based on the information we have available today, right? We have to be careful in our world of marketing and sharing information that think that just because we might need to know more, that doesn't mean everybody needs to know more. Just because some people might need to know more, that doesn't mean everybody needs to know more. So I always say this, look, and I'm going to go back to hockey for a moment. You don't focus on the 70 shot attempts. You focus on how many pucks went into the goal. That's how you win the game, right? It's about those. Focus on the victories and the proof points for now, because you can't change and magically have everything at one time. SpaceX launched some rocket, was it yesterday, that just blew up, right? Blows up. Those little things are stepping stones to get to the bigger outcome. You can't build the final rocket ship overnight. It takes steps. It takes iterations. It takes time. And if you want to wait until you got the final rocket ship to go from here to Mars, because that's what this is for. It's about colonization of Mars, right? But you can't just build to the final rocket ship and expect it to work and then hope it doesn't blow up. You got to go through the iterations and know that things are going to be messy along the way and not perfect along the way. That's a better word than messy, is not perfect, right? So don't, in anything, not just what we're doing, in anything that you're doing, don't overanalyze what's needed. This is the one value of one of my foundational books called The Lean Startup. You don't have to read the whole book, but this is the most important principle, is the importance of minimum viable product. And sometimes that's hard for people because you might be that person who's so analytical you need every detail in order to make a decision. Guess what? If you're not an early adopter, you're not going to understand the early adopter mindset. That there are people that don't need all the pieces to get going with it. I always love, I watch, have you ever seen the Shark Tank episode and you hear Robert Herjavec talk about it? When Ashton Kutcher got on Shark Tank, and they joked about it because, and you guys don't know, Ashton Kutcher was one of the first investors into Uber. He's worth over 275 million now at this point, but because he owns 150 businesses at this point also. But anyway, but Robert Herjavec says, you know what? He says, man, that was the one thing. He said, I didn't see it. I wish I had gotten in on it. Robert Herjavec didn't see that Uber would work. Right? He had the opportunity to invest and he didn't. And Uber clearly is working, right? Uber clearly is an amazing model. People love it. I get people, for me, I'll never use taxi again, right? Just as me. I'm not trying to. What's that? Scott,
Hey, Keith, I just want to interject. You know the guy that invented Ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that was on Invented Ring was on Shark Tank, and they all blew.
Yeah, they passed him up, right? He was right. Isn't that what happened? He walked into Shark Tank with the idea. They all said no. He went out and became a billionaire, and then he came back and was sitting in the seat as an investor on Shark Tank. Yep. For those that don't know that story, it's powerful. He was the first person ever who flipped from someone who presented to being someone sitting in the seats as a shark as well. But yeah, and they didn't invest in it. He said, I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. Because to get somewhere big, you cannot do it overnight. It takes many, many, many steps. So we have to put together what we think works, and you find those elements to attract. And what we know is certain things are working. Acquiring the properties to me, I wouldn't say we're not done, but that's the easiest part. I'm not worried. If somebody's somewhat interested, I said it the other day. We have someone here in Vegas who we're running short-term rental. It's getting shut down, and he's finding. He knows he might go a few months with no income, but he'd rather wait for Beyond Living to be ready than to sell his house at a loss or do other models. He likes making the impact. So the people are out there. Our big goal in Beyond Living and the biggest focus right now is going to be to get our job models out there and marketed. We need to get our own stream of jobs and income coming in. That's what's going to help us, because getting the people is getting easier and easier. It's going to get easier and easier. Getting our businesses to give them the jobs and fund it right now is the number one piece. As I think about what we need to put our focus and attention on, that's where we need to do the slight shift at the moment. So, meaning we're going to keep enhancing what we have for you guys, but we're going to do less enhancing in the space of what we can do to make owners feel more comfortable. And we're going to be enhancing what can we do to make sure that we can create the jobs. So when we get owners that say yes, we can fill their properties and have them be financially successful. Does that make sense? That's what we want. So I'd rather have 5 people who believed in it and turn away 30 people and have those 5 be successful than to spend all our time getting 100 and not figuring out how to get the first 5 successful. So that's kind of where we need to make sure that we don't lose sight of that focus. So
a few weeks ago, you had a few new prospects. Did they qualify the Vegas homes?
So we've got several new prospects. One is from Chicago, but that was a different one than what you're saying from Vegas. So we have a guy, Kelton. Kelton was originally about to move in, and then his brother pretty much talked him out of it. And that's what happens. And so it was unfortunate. You know, his brother had said, well, you know, I get how all these things work, and, you know, it's all a scam, and, you know, you charge all these high rents so you can make a lot of money, and et cetera, et cetera. I said, well, then look, then your brother can go back to being in a shelter if he doesn't think this is a good opportunity. We've got a job for him, a place for him, you know, and you know, so that's the choice that he has to make, you know. So that goes back to the skeptics. You know, and unfortunately, I think it's so unfortunate when some people's ignorance. Oh, because I said, when we went through it, I said, no, it's no different. It's better than the Salvation Army. You go be at the Salvation Army and you work and you don't get anything except your housing. Here you work and earn cash. This is great. He said, oh, Salvation Army is a fraud as well. That's what he said. It's the 5th largest brand in the world, and he was calling the Salvation Army nothing but a complete fraud. And they've got all this money in their pocket. I know that's not true. They shut down their donation pickup in Vegas because there wasn't enough funding for it. You know, they didn't have enough money. So this is what happens. People often of ignorance will impose their ignorant views on other people that don't know better because they have influence. They impact people's lives. I've seen attorneys do this. I've seen attorneys tell someone, no, don't trust them. You should just keep your path and go through foreclosure. Well, yeah, because you're the attorney, you're not having to deal with the impact of foreclosure for the next 7 to 10 years on your credit report and everything else you're doing and trying to buy a house again. Like, it baffles my mind. I like providing information so people can make educated decisions, but at least have real information, right? Versus made up information, false things. So anyway, we do have a couple more though, Mark. We actually got a couple right now. We've got a woman, Lisa, and we've got a gentleman, Francisco, that we're working with, that we're putting through the screening process. And there might be more that have come in. I just haven't been looking. And the Just One project, they're following up with us today. They have their big board meeting and team meeting with the CEO yesterday. They loved us. They get 500 intake calls a day. So I believe if we can get partnered with them, Mark, we're going to be able to start filling homes in here in Vegas pretty quick. So,
all right, yeah, and I confirmed with Christy for Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Okay, cool. All right, perfect. Mike, I will cover that off separately, either at the end of this if there's time, but if you go to the Beyond Living YouTube channel, you can also learn a lot more about Beyond Living. And then inside your the NextGen Secrets, there's a training on how to get $2,200 per bedroom, I think is what it was. That will actually explain a little bit on an investor side how Beyond Living works. So that'll kind of be an offshore one. And then I can circle back on that on another call if I don't have time today to address deeper for those that aren't as familiar with how Beyond Living works for investors. But it's a hugely, incredibly powerful program for investors. And here is great news for all you guys. I forgot who brought it up last week. Maybe Alan as well. I did Barb, you were on it. I did a presentation for for a community foundations group, basically to tap into nonprofits. And I put together a presentation for that. And that actually has a lot of, it's going to become a basis for some information and slides that you could share with nonprofits. I talk about the 6 different ways that we work with nonprofits to help them grow and benefit. And Barb, just you were on, I think you could probably attest that everyone on that call was pretty blown away by how we can help nonprofits. Is that fair?
Yes, it was very clear and concise, and then giving the 6 options, I think pulled it all together and gives them at least something. Instead of being overwhelmed, they can start with, oh, these 2 would be great to start with. And so it was a great breakdown. So with that said, and by the way, I'm already meeting with, she reached out. I haven't had a chance. I've been on calls all morning, but Connie, was that her name? I think yes, Connie here in Vegas. She already reached out right away, and then we're just trying to nail down a time for early next week. We're going to get things going there. Mark, she actually works with the Community Foundation, supports nonprofits here in Las Vegas. So she loved what we're doing and wants to get together, and so did everybody that was in Vegas that was on that call. So it was very good. But what we're going to do? Too. She's in California too? Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually, the nonprofit QA page, which reminds me, so I don't forget, Michael Jones asked about the Flip Our House partner. Michael, did you see we updated it already? The Flip Your House for Renovators landing page, I'm just pulling it up really quick here. I got it.
Yep, I did see it. I've already been sending it out.
Cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the URL. I mean, I'll leave this one as is, but I don't like it being the Flip Our House worksheet as the full URL. But the other day we talked about helping renovators learn about our Flip Our House model. We added this little quick thing: renovators flip more houses with our new unique partnership model, and then it gives a couple bullets, and then it gives them the ability to opt in. So all you guys could start sharing. For those that wanted to build Flip Our House partners, we've made this more as a starting point. It's a little bit more than just MVP for those we've talked to. It's now at least MVP. If you know somebody that flips houses that wants to expand the number of properties they do, keep more capital available, preserve their credit, et cetera, kind of the couple bullets are there. They can now opt into this. And
is that on the quick share or to be emailed?
That's on the NextGen quick share. Yeah. It says, I think it's just now, we changed the name on QuickShare to just Flip Our House program. Yeah. So for anybody that wants to share this, we're going to do the same thing with the nonprofit QA on the Beyond Living. We're going to take those bullets. This is what made me think of this. Barb, we're going to take those 6 things and how we work with nonprofits and kind of put that on that landing page for the QA page. And we're going to make that like an info page for nonprofits. And then you can opt in for a QA session to learn more. So same thing. I hope to have that done by Monday, but I'm not going to guarantee that. But that is the goal. I did say I was going to try to have this by Friday, and we had it yesterday. So I got ahead on one thing this week. I got ahead on one thing. So hopefully I could say Monday, and maybe we'll have the QA thing done even sooner. And it's so important to me to get those nonprofits engaged with us and how we can work together. So, and that might go through some iterations. We might just do a really quick version, down and dirty. I actually was going to try to record a video for yesterday and do a little intro video, but there just wasn't enough time in the day. So I think we're going to skip the video for right now. And that QA page you'll see for nonprofits, here's how we can help support you. There's 6 different ways, and then if you want to learn more, join our QA session. So I think some of you, that would be a helpful tool if I'm not mistaken, because I think some of you are saying, what can I share with nonprofits to kind of get them engaged and kind of know more about how we can work together? So, all right, it's 11:26. Still plenty of time. I've got one more awesome topic, and then we're going to review a property that Scott had put into the system. Questions on what I went through so far, though? Anything on these landing pages or what's coming for nonprofits to kind of share with them, kind of how they can learn more and plug in?
Can I share something real quick, Keith?
Sure. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, I was talking to a gentleman that has a leasing company last night, and I would like to figure out how to connect him with what we're doing. I was telling you about my passion with nonprofits, and he supports a women's shelter nonprofit, and he was really excited to learn more. So I actually told him I would like to maybe do a three-way with you and see maybe how we can connect together with his leasing company. And he's a broker too. So it might be a really good way to house women that are suffering from abuse and things like that.
Yeah, that would be great. He definitely fits in, into someone that's a great potential partner. Do me a favor. You have my email, right?
Yes.
Shoot me an email and remind me about this, and we'll figure out a way to coordinate best next steps with him.
Fantastic. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but this is exactly the types of people we want to connect in with, people that are, and if he's leasing, that means he's got a lot of people that he might be managing properties for, and they might be looking for a better model. So we could, he could become a great resource and connection, and he can earn in it too, right? Of course, and be able to earn more and do good in the community. So that's great. Thanks, Sam. Did we get a video for Vegas short-term rentals? What do you mean by that, Mark? Did we get a video for Vegas short-term rentals?
I thought I heard you were going to put a short 60 to 90-second video to reach out to short-term rental owners here.
Oh, short-term rental owners. Yeah, no, there's no video yet, and if any, it's on the list actually, Mark. But it's on right now per Warren Buffett's training. It's on the to avoid list, but it's on the list, so that's the good news. But it's definitely something we want to have. One of the things, it goes back to. There's certainly going to be a massive opportunity for us here in Vegas to help all these people in the short-term rental space. And that video, or that, let's just say a landing page, a construct, a marketing construct that could help those that have short-term rentals understand where to go next, could be very, very powerful. Okay, this is a great question that Mike Amontes just brought up. As an affiliate, how do we benefit from referring the nonprofit organization versus focusing on securing the property? There's two different pieces to that, actually. You benefit from both, Mike. Securing a property, as you know, following our regular model like we went through on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. Was it? I don't know, Ray. Was it Monday or Wednesday? Wasn't it your property that you had or something that we opened up? Somebody had a property.
It was on Monday, I think.
Yeah, okay. So on Monday, we went through numbers of how does it all break down? Like how do you earn on a property? So obviously there's a lot more revenue when you on a property when you bring in a property on a consistent monthly basis, because once you secure the property, you get it monthly. But for nonprofits, we created a program. I haven't formally announced this yet, but what we're looking at doing is if you connect in a nonprofit like Mark did, Mark brought in the Just One project. We're looking at doing like anytime somebody joins the program, the Beyond Living program, because they pay a fee, it's all built into it. You're going to earn $50 on their first payment. And I think we're going to do that for every person that comes in for the entire first year with that organization. Right? So if somebody brought in, if you had 20 people, that could be $1,000 as a thank you just for connecting in that nonprofit organization, which hopefully then is bringing in residents to help fill properties that you've also found. But Beyond Living is coming up, is designing a thank you kind of contribution model, because I know it takes time and effort to connect in with these nonprofits. And I know some people are willing to do it just for the benefit of the good cause and making impact, but we recognize and we value your time. So we're creating an affiliate program in that regards, that if you connect in a nonprofit, obviously they have to send people. If it doesn't generate revenue to Beyond Living, there's no revenue to pay out, affiliate referral fees or thank you fees. But we're gonna refer based on how powerful that organization is. So that basically the more people that they send of qualified residents into the program, the more that you'll be able to earn. And there might be bonuses and more than that, but we don't know yet. I'd rather under promise and over deliver. So for right now, we're looking at like a fee for every person out of their first month that they come in that you get because you helped create the connection with that nonprofit. Does that make sense? Did everybody follow what I was describing? So if you brought in, say, let's take the Just One project, and 20 people every month got filled into a home here. Let's say 10 a month, and got placed into one of our into the program in one of our homes. Mark would get 20. I said 10 people times $50, $500 a month. So that could be $6,000 over the course of that year just for making that connection. That's pretty good, right? Just for making that introduction, sending them to the QA nonprofit website. Obviously, you could tell Mark is helping to coordinate the meetings with them. That way, it allows me more time to be able to help support and meet with people. So, like, he's got the Lighthouse Charities as scheduled Tuesday at 10 a.m. So I appreciate that time and that support, Mark, and I want to thank you for that. And that's how we win together. Cool? All right, looks like I got at least 3 people got that. So I got 3 yeses in the chat box. You're saying it would be monthly amount. What I'm saying is at the end of every month, for every new program member that came from that organization, you could get paid $50, and that's for the first 12 months. So let's say month 1, 10 people come over, that's $500. The next month 2, 5 new people join, that's $250. The next month, 20 people come in, then that's $1,000. So if you add up more and more nonprofits across the country that you've connected us into that resulted directly in the relationship, then absolutely you could keep earning and earning and earning over that piece of time. But as you do that, think about this. If you start generating qualified people into the program, that means we're going to need homes, which means now you can go out and find homes for the people that you've generated through the nonprofits. And then that becomes a piece of the property ongoing. And it's not about whether new people come in or out. You're just that kind of motivated. It's build your own ecosystem, right? Help create jobs, help find people, and help find homes, and you could create an amazing cash flow stream, right? So that's kind of where our heads were at. Relationships, it's a lot harder for us. But we could do it. I could do email blasts. I could do marketing and YouTube. And as the leader of Beyond Living, wanting to get this organization out there, we can do that, and Beyond Living can do that faster with your help. So, cool? Churches and everything else, same thing. Connecting to churches. Anybody that somehow, I don't know what that church.
Recording in progress.
All right, where you need to make. A little bit. Everything we're doing here is actually building the foundations for the Agile group, and we're going to have another Agile investor meeting because I just reached out and spoke with our SEC attorneys this week, and my goal is hopefully by the end of this quarter we can file. We're going to be able to file them. We're actually going to be able to do distributions. I know Bryant and others that are part of Agile Group, you probably remember there weren't going to be any distributions, but based on what we've proven and what we've built, I think we're really going to be able to do distributions, which makes our model even more attractive. And we're also going to be likely, before we go live, we're going to make an adjustment and increase the starting offering price of the Agile Group. So, and that'll all come based on the models we've built, based on the distributions coming out, and based on, our track records. So, So big things coming in that. But when we do that, we're going to attract more and more people. It's going to allow us to create more and more awareness of what Beyond Living is about. And the Agile Group is going to, I'm going to say Agile Group is going to ride the coattails of what's happening here with Beyond Living. And that's going to help us create funding for homes, create funding for vehicles to support Beyond Living, funding for furniture, all those different things so that we could scale at a massive level, have extra money. When we have the Beyond Living homes up, I mean, you guys heard me talk about this. I'm going to do a separate video on this that breaks down how money flows through Beyond Living. Because if you guys didn't catch this, I said this several times. I want there's going to be extra profits in every home that Beyond Living has extra to use for its own grants and programs. So I begin to look at things, even like Jeff, we talked about this, I think, with We Care. I want to be able to support more We Care facilities, right? And I support more We Care. We have more people coming through. That just becomes more people that might be ready to go and come into Beyond Living program later, right? Then if not, we still help people. But I want to create that cross relationship that we're just helping each other serve and make impact and grow together. And you create those ecosystems, and it's just absolutely massive on a massive, massive scale. So that's what's all coming. All right. Now, before we jump into analyzing Scott's property, I got to share something. Hang on. I was sharing my screen a minute ago. I hit it. I don't think anyone saw it yet. Kudos. Hang on. Share screen. Here we go. You guys might recognize that gentleman right there. There's Alan getting ready to speak at the Jacksonville REI Group, which he was invited to speak at as a result of him reaching out to an investor who had a property either for sale or for rent. I don't remember, Rosemary.
For sale.
For sale.
It was her flip. It was her own personal flip. Actually, no. I reached out to a property she had listed. And she said the owner it probably wouldn't work, but she was interested for a property and that's how that started.
So I'm going to repeat what he just said. He reached out to an agent about a property they had listed. You guys have all heard this story over and over, right?
Just a basic call on a Zillow listing like you teach in all the training videos.
And as a result, not a good fit for that one, but wait a minute, I have a flip property that I might be interested in. So a couple things here that I hope you're catching. Number one, when you reach out to realtors, they often have other properties that might be of a good fit. Number two, notice she has a flip property. So a flip, an investor who has a flip and the house may not be selling or can see something better to do with it, all of a sudden said, I want to do Beyond Living with my own home. It's a long term for Beyond Living.
And it was a 4x1.5, and she's changing that half to a full one.
How cool is that? And I'm probably going to put up a wall so that we can have a separation between that utility laundry room or the bathroom or something in another room. So she's going to do a little bit more enhancements on the property. What is this telling you? This is
and the president, Mike Grandjean, happens to be friends with Glenn. Who? What's your relationship with Glenn exactly?
Yeah, Glenn Connolly. So Doug, since you weren't, I don't think you were on the call the other day. I reached out to Glenn because he's in Jacksonville, see if he could make it to the Jax REI, because we got Alan speaking on Beyond Living. He said, the Jax REI, I'm partnered with the president. He owns his pad split homes with the president of that REI group. Talk about small world. But Alan, before we talk about this, hold on, one more thing I want to go back to. Notice that this flipper decided to hold her property for purposes of partnering with us. The call that earlier today with Susanna, who's not on, and Denise, his name is Jorge. He has properties that he was flipping up in Jacksonville. He has them up for sale, but he was running a shared housing model, just renting the rooms to make income while he sells it. He now wants to partner with us and convert those into Beyond Living and buy more homes. He says, you just tell me when you're ready to buy, you need more homes, and I'll go buy them and clean them up and renovate them and then put them into the system.
Funny, like this.
So
if you look to the very far left of the picture, there's a guy in a set of overalls, a bald guy in a set of overalls. No, there you go. Yeah, that's it. Yes.
Yep.
That's Mike Grangine. He's the president of the REI Group. What a character that guy is too.
That's awesome. Well, that's great to know. Now I know who Glenn's partner is.
I'm going to get you there to speak. I think they really want. They want to see. They want to hear from the man.
Well, I might actually come down because I've been wanting to get down there anyway. Because Glenn and I need to meet on a whole bunch of different things. Glenn, by the way, I probably wouldn't be sharing this with this group. I'm going to do it anyway. Check this out, Doug Svensson, Glenn and Mike Flint. Glenn just bought this. It's just even at the golf club for us there, Alan. So don't share. No, don't reach out to Mike and Doug and tell them I told everyone about it because I don't know if I'm supposed to share that. I'm just sharing with you that we're creating jobs down there, and he's part of it. We're meeting on Monday because he's been working to create jobs and line them up for what we're doing with Beyond Living. So anyway, before I turn this over to Alan, because I want to hear how last night went, I want you guys to just see the power of what we have with Beyond Living and attracting a group with our core mission of Agile to raise funds to continue to help support Beyond Living. Do you know how many people I believe are going to invest into Agile Group just to be part of what we're doing? Not only do we have Beyond Living, we've got short-term rentals, we've got flip projects, we've got proof studies over the last 2 years of how we're making money differently in the real estate industry space. It's game changing. So everyone that got in early, great for you. I think we lost Bryant, but I think he's the only one that might be in. I don't know. He's one of the few that are in the Agile Group right now. Mark is, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, Doug May is, it might be. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. Point is, guys, we're going to crush it this year. We're going to have funding to be able to fund our houses, to fund renovations, to be able to support creating vehicles and assets to secure the jobs. So there's a lot happening. So with that said, the power of having something unique, the USP Continuum. If you've never seen me speak on that, go to YouTube, type up USP Continuum. You'll see my pitch on USP Continuum. And I talk about it. When you have something truly unique, and I have 4 different layers. As you get in the upper layers, you begin to attract investors, you attract employees, you attract customers, you attract business partners, you attract people to what you're doing. And this is doing it, and Alan's executing. If you guys can ride the coattails of the USP we've created, and you could build an amazing real estate practice for yourself, an investing business, getting people involved. Sam, you've already seen it with this leasing guy. We're going to be able to help them build their business and create an attraction marketing device. So anyway, so Alan got invited to go speak at the REIA. We're not making this up. It's proof. It's right there on the screen. There's Alan at the REIA getting ready to speak. Alan, tell us, man, how did it go? What happened?
It was really like, we were talking about having several vortexes, because of the purpose that's behind Beyond Living. 87% of people will choose a business that provides a product or a service that is on point, that is on purpose, that has some type of, like, I don't know what's the word. I've heard this said so many times and I'm just blanking right now. But the point
supports a good cause.
Yeah, it supports
social impact.
Cause. What's that, Jeff?
Social impact.
Yeah, social impact, right? Plus it's unique. Plus it's profitable. So there's like all these great reasons that are involved, but I was part of three panelists. The other two, one was Barbara Tidwell. She was the president of an organization that it's called. Hold on, I got her card right here. The living home for elderly, and they do their homes very uniquely. They create a living space that feels like their own home. So the people that they serve are usually in their like late 70s and up. So they come from a generation where the furniture is different and everything feels different. And they go into a place where they would normally be cared for. Everything's cold and dry. It feels like hospice, feels like a hospital. But in her places, it's warm and comforting, and all their furniture is decorated with time like antique furniture that they would recognize. If they didn't own it themselves, they'd probably seen it in their friend's home. So she's got a very like warm, like, I mean, his name was Quentin. Quentin Wendt. He's the GM of Pad Split, and his message was on the other end of the spectrum, where it was purely profit motive. There was no other thing he could talk about. He could only. I promise you, it's cold. Barbara, her message had warmth to it, and there was a purpose. The message is warm, and it has a purpose behind it. And then you have someone who's representing a purely profit motive opportunity for these same investors that are all sitting in the same room talking, and they're exchanging questions with us, because it was a format of Q&A where the host started it off asking a question, and the first panel, and the questions that were coming in were focused on Barbara and me, and a little bit on the Pad Split, and it really was profoundly, it proved to me, like, in a very visceral way, how having this as a unique proposition and with a purpose behind it, that is, everyone sees homeless people. That's not something that's hidden. That's not something that's, it's on the news. If you don't see it in person, they're going to put it on your face on the YouTube or on the TV. So you're going to see homeless people because it's there. And God wants us to see it. And I think that's partly why it's so prevalent in our face. And, to declare that you're missions, a purpose, and a power, and it strips away fear, because that if God's on your side, no matter, everyone else on this earth could stand against you and they would lose. So like with that, the whole experience was just incredible, because after a couple experiences I've recently had working, going to a place where they actually serve food to the homeless people, and these people I'm talking to, I'm shaking their hands, I can smell them. I mean, they don't smell good, they don't look good, but I want to help them, and that's where they are in this catch-22, where I explained it to the room. I was like, when you're 16, you get your license, and you need a car. Well, you need a job to pay for the car, but you need a car to get to and from the job to pay for that car, but you need the car to get to and from the job. So what do? It's a catch-22. Well, these people are in similar catch-22s, and they're a vicious cycle, and theirs is way more vicious, right? They want to get a job, and guess what? They show up and they look and they smell homeless, and it's a lot less likely they're going to get that job, right? So, and I explain that to the room, and I say, look, we want to provide them with a stable environment for them to be able to get themselves launched back into an independent life, and this is how we do it. And I explain the model, and I put it together with a story about this guy Chuck that I met at this shelter, or not really, it was a shelter, it was like where they were just feeding these vets, and I explained it like I was there with an associate, and Chuck told us a story, man, and because I was there in person, physically there to help, it caused an emotional response in me, and I realized I was there to help Chuck. And every time I start to talk about it, I feel it. And when I talk about it to a room, they feel it too. So I didn't care if they heard me, but I wanted them to feel me. And they did. Because I got like 20, they at the end, they had opportunity for them to come up and talk to all the panelists. And I was there from 5:30 till 9:45, and it was because people just wouldn't want to stop talking to me. Finally, Rosemary, the one who we're partnering with, and she's the vice president, she grabbed me. She said, "Come on, we got to get you out of here." And she ended up taking me back to the train station where I got to train back. And that, by the way, that day was 24 hours. I got on a train at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to Jacksonville. Got into Jacksonville at 9. I got up at 3 a.m., by the way. Got up at 3. Got on the train at 6. Got to Jacksonville by 9. went around Jacksonville a little bit, got a workout, a haircut, did a little sightseeing, and then ended up at the event. And then after the event, got back to the train station, didn't get back till 3 a.m. But it was well worth it. And honestly, like, they want me to come back. Matter of fact, my host, the person that invited me, Rosemary, has another group that she wants to invite me to. So this is just this is the, that event horizon. Once you go past that point of no return, that's where I feel like I'm at that tipping point where everything's just going to cascade, like, snowball effect. Just
that is, it's the tipping point, and you cross that tipping point. And, first of all, I want to thank Alan for going through a 24-hour travel day and just chaos, for serving the mission. But I hope this inspires some of you to realize what is possibly out there for you. I mean, just look at that. I mean, again, for those that don't know, that didn't hear this before, Alan, other than just a couple of weeks, about a month ago, whenever he got asked to speak, he had never been asked to speak anywhere in his life. And now he's being invited to speak everywhere. Talk about instant authority, instant expertise, instantly in demand. You guys, if you guys can learn this, what we're doing, you don't have to know all the ins and outs, but just learn how to communicate it at a high level. You're going to attract people. And I'm here to support you, right? And I am going to go back to Jacksonville now. Now you've really hooked me in. I was trying to get Glenn here. Now I understand, by the way, Alan. Glenn and Mike and I were supposed to get together. They wanted to get together because they wanted to partner with me on some ideas because they want to do some things with my marketing side and my marketing skills. And they were actually going to come here to Vegas and meet with me. And then he called me up one day when he said, I got the executives from Pad Split. I want you to meet them. Come on out. We'll come meet them. Now I'm understanding who it is. And he said that was one of the GMs. So clearly Mike, who runs the association, is connected in with Pad Split. So that's part of the connection, guys. And I think you guys heard me talking about Pad Split. That connection is Glenn is clearly very involved with them because he's partnered with Mike, who runs the association, who knows all these guys at Pad Split, all these executives. So, but I just want to let you guys know that while it might not be easy at first because there's a lot to bring in, it's because real estate's not easy. This is what I tell people from the beginning. You can't learn it in a weekend or a night, but if you just slowly start absorbing, start picking up the things, use the one-line phrases. Here's what we do. You're an investor. I can show you how to make more money with less effort. Is that something you'd be interested in? That's all you need to say. Does that make sense? That's all you need. Our leadership team, can facilitate these calls to help take it to that next level. And then as you're exposed more and more to it, you'll be able to do it to a whole nother level. And that's what Alan's already shown. I mean, Alan, you've only been doing this for like 2-3 months or something, right? I mean, it's not like you've been here for like 4 years. It's like 3 months, guys. And he's traveling around, hopping on trains, going to speak at REIA groups, building massive partnerships with multiple properties, lining up the contract with him. He's got Panama City already. We got people in Jacksonville, Savannah, Charleston. I mean, he's got multiple properties in just a few months. But he's focused and he's not afraid. He's not worried about knowing all the answers. It's what I love about it, Alan. You're okay not to have the answers. He'll call up, he'll ask things, and Alan just said, I hope to give everyone here the reasons to be bold with our mission. I mean, this is a great cause. I really believe it. There's a financial reward on the other side, but it takes effort. It does. But it's worth the effort to me. Even if you made very little, just extra passive, the impact you can make in people's lives is huge. But the crazy thing is there's actually really good money to be made here, and it's okay. God wants us to be blessed, and he'll bless us with even more. We just continue to share our blessings with others, and God will continue to bless even further and further. So I'm a true believer in that. So, Alan, I just wanted to say thanks again for your stepping up to the plate. I mean, clearly, Alan has complete comfort being in front of people. That obviously helps. For some people, you got to break that barrier, but it's you don't have to be an expert. I just want you to know that you don't have to be an expert. You just have to be willing to put a little bit of effort in and time in. So, anything else you wanted to add, Alan? And then we'll jump over to this last step of for today.
Yeah, it's funny because like when I first started talking, everyone was giving them their personal background, and I don't look at my personal background as a real asset to what we do, other than my military background. You know, I've been in sales and I've been successful in different capacities, but mostly I've been a personal trainer and nutritional coach for the last 22 years. And if you know anyone who's been in that capacity, they don't do that job for the money. They're not very many personal trainers, unless you know, are part of that elite crowd that finds an online presence and gets a great following, makes any real money. So I don't try to leverage that. So when I just opened up, I just said, look, like after listening to them make their introductions, like, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, you know, who I am doesn't matter, and what I've done doesn't matter, but my mission is what matters. And the fact that I'm here in the presence of God, in the name of Jesus Christ, that's what matters. And to me, and that's when I went into what our mission was. I didn't even want to make it about me, because it doesn't matter who I am or what I am. And what matters is what we're doing. And we're doing this as a collective. Like we get together and share this stuff and talk about this stuff 3 times a week, soon to be 2, which is okay with me actually. But where it goes is, like, you know, we have we're all feeding each other with inspiration, motivation, ideas, concepts, little ways of, you know, changing our speech. I like just the things that will push each other forward. So like that's where I sort of focus on. Our mission is not about like going out and making money first. I feel like if you do it that way, you're gonna really partner yourself with a limited crowd. 87% of people in the world, like I tell you, are going to want to partner with you if you are on purpose. So that's why I started leading with just Beyond Living, and only talking about short-term rentals when Beyond Living isn't working out. If it doesn't work, well, then maybe short-term rental. Mm-hmm. That's all. That's the only last little thing I want to say is, like, leverage it, man. We have a great mission. We have a great purpose, and everybody in the country knows that the homeless people need help. And the fact that we are providing work and an education and a screening process, you know, those are the 3 key factors that seem to make people comfortable. Oh, okay, yeah, they're going to be screened. Of course. Well, of course. You know, a history when I was young, an unstable childhood where, you know, I came home from school and there would be there'd be an eviction notice on the door. Something would be very crazy going on, and it created an environment where, you know, we weren't really thinking about our future. We were thinking about what was going on right here, and couldn't really project what we wanted to do. And I understand how kids in, you know, foster care or families that are close to homeless or homeless are struggling because of that. I was close to it myself. So if you can, like, just tell a story like that, man, like you're talking to someone, you're not going to have much time, so you need to get their attention. So I don't know. I'm sort of rambling now, but I just that's all I'm going to say.
Awesome. Well, I love your sharing, and I hope some people walked away with some good ideas and concepts and inspiration out of what you just shared with the group. I thought it was fantastic. So thank you, Alan. And you know, again, I think for everybody, you know, find your comfort, find your purpose, find your passion. And when you find a passion that has purpose, boy, it will absolutely accelerate you faster than you ever imagined. There was a question in the chat box that came in. It might have been a private message, but whatever. A couple asked about the Agile Group. Is it private or public? Agile Group is right now it's a private company that is filed with the SEC. Or a Reg A Plus. So a Reg A Plus is to go to the general marketplace and be able to offer to anybody. And what a Reg A Plus does is people do not have to be accredited investors. So in the Agile Group, when we turn on our stock, people will be able to get into the Agile Group with real estate, but they don't have $50,000, or they're not an accredited investor to get into Grant Cardone's big syndication he's got going on, right? What about all the rest of the people? So that's what we created with the Agile Group. We launched it, and I offered for people that were directly part of our network and those that in NextGen, there's a loophole that's called, I think it's called the 703, that allows us to have our employees or independent contractors invest into the Agile Group. So when we first started putting the Agile Group together, We allowed NextGen because it's not. This is a private forum here. This is my private customers, private group. I could actually offer the ability for them to be part of the organization before it went public. So we did that. We paused that because it's already grown. Those that got in early, I think, have already quadrupled their right. There have been some people that have asked me about it. If you're watching this video later on a replay, or if there's anybody on the call now that wants to know more about the Agile group, reach out to me privately. We may still be able to do that because we haven't finished the last set of filings because we're about to adjust it. Like I said, we're about to raise the offering price. We're about to, it stated in there was going to be no distributions for some time. We might change that. In fact, I mean, right now is a perfect time. Here's a shift. The market, the stock market is terrible for many people, right? I mean, the interest rates are so high. People aren't earning anything in their bank account. So if we can offer them the ability to earn something on their money, even if they put it into it to earn more than they're getting on their thing from that perspective, it's going to really attract even more investors than we planned before. But again, it's not available to the general public, but it is available to people that know me personally. And through my business, through this business, technically every person on this call is a member with me. We have a prior existing relationship. So it changes the rules about the investment and securities laws work. This is not general public. This is private forum. Every one of you have a special, unique link. You don't get into this unless you've invested. We spend time together. So anyway, technically, there is an ability for people to get in if you are interested to learn how to get in. I don't have any numbers of what that would look like now because I got to look at how everything's shifting, and we closed it off for a while. But it would be something for those getting in that could get an instant, for those that are getting in to be able to get kind of an instant jump, because you would get in below what our offering price will be when we activate with the SEC and do our last filing, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to quote out there what we're planning to do. I'll just tell you, originally, we were planning $1 a share was our original offering. And you could go to the SEC and you could read all that. And it's all public technically. But I'm not going to share what I think it's going to be, but it's going to be greater than $1 a share now is where we're leaning, because we have to, we went from concept and that more of a blank check company to an actual 2 years of history, proof of what we've done, new models that didn't even exist then, and attraction models. So my last piece is I want us to show that we've already shown we can scale and launch in any market in the short-term rental space. I just want a couple proof points that we could do that with Beyond Living. When we have that, man, now we've got the golden ticket, because we've got a model that's amazing, that wins for investors, that wins for the community, and we can prove that we can scale that one too. I know we can scale it. I've scaled businesses my whole life, but investors often want to say, okay, so you've done that, but can you do this? Can you do this one? But that's a different space, blah, blah, blah. We just have, and I think Jacksonville, honestly, is going to be our first market beyond Vegas, because obviously we're based out of Vegas. It's easy to say, well, you've done it in Vegas. That doesn't mean you could do it anywhere. How did Ray Kroc make all that money, right? Scaling the concept, right? Scaling the burger franchise, right? People want to know, can you take this particular model bigger? And if once we nail that and can show a couple points, that's just going to be through the question is, can the original Agile members invest more? Oh yeah, because Scott, you're an Agile group too, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you could. It wouldn't be at the same rate, of course. But yes, if we open this back up to allow another set of investment funds in before we file our revised offering with the SEC, then that would be feasible. We would obviously offer that to our previous. It wouldn't be fair to offer to new people, not those that were in. But I hadn't thought through all that. I just know there were more and more people that were kind of asking me about the Agile group, and is it possible for me to get in? And knowing that we've got this little bit of window left before we sent back our revised final offer, our revised offering statement to the SEC for the final qualification, then there is some opportunity. So anyway, with that said, I've got one last property. We lost Jeff. He had to jump. And this is unfortunate because it's in his neighborhood, but check this out. I'm going to share this last thing. Any other questions on Agile Group, put them in the chat box and I will get back to you. And awesome. And thank you, Mike Montes. I love your feedback for Alan's story. And I am too. That's why I want him to share it. I'm so blown away what I love about this is, for me, I've been speaking on stages for 20 years, but more recently in like a speaking circuit where people invite me. I've spoken alongside Sharon Lecter and Richard Branson, Ashton Kutcher. I spoke at events with Damon John, Robert Herkovec, etc. I've been asked to speak at these things, but to see people that have never been asked to speak before going out there and being invited to speak and just crushing it and just attracting people in. It's not about the person, it's about the message. So any one of you can do this if you desire. You don't have to desire to want to go speak, but if you're figuring out, man, how can I get out there and build more people and help me grow, they'll invite you, believe it or not. they'll invite you. So all right, one last thing here. I think, Alan, I still have you pinned. I'll turn you off there. Hold on one second here. Remove pin. There we go. Let me share my screen.
Hey, Keith, I just want to make sure you got my email. I sent you an email and I attached it, or I CC'd that gentleman.
Okay, cool. Sounds great. All right. I will look for that, Sam. Thank you. Scott, right, found this property. Scott,
maybe this is near. Yeah, maybe this is near Jeff's police station.
I know, that's why I said it's a bummer we just missed him, but here's a property, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 3,300 square feet. My goodness, that's a big size home. Clearly, it needs some work. I'm looking at this initial photos, boarded up windows. Let's see, where's the arrow? Here it is. Good size home, clearly needs some work on the inside. I don't think we're renting it like that. That's not going to go over very well. Even the nicest furniture won't pretty that up.
Open air concept.
Yeah, that's right. Open air. I like that. We like the loft feel, take it to another level, right? The bathrooms, just like being in prison, right? You'll love it. Yeah, I think, this one needs work. So
read about the asking price in the note box.
All right, let me see. Let's see what this says. Asking price. It seems like a lot to me for that area. Well,
yeah, it's hard. But
hang on. Home details. Here we go. Full restoration, estimated cost approximated at $50,000 for full restoration. What? Oh wait,
yeah, that's kind of inaccurate.
15,000 or best offer has an after repair value of 100,000. Why is it listed? Oh, it's off market. I see.
Yeah. An investor friend of mine gave this to me yesterday, and yeah, it probably needs 100,000 plus, but the comps in the area, they're all 250, 300, 325.
And what are they actually? It says asking 15,000 or best offer. Look, the land is worth more than 15,000. I can tell you that. I don't know about the property, but the land is worth at least 15,000. So something seems odd to me if that's actually right.
Would you collect rents there?
What's that?
Well,
would you be scared to collect rents there? I know Indianapolis, there's some bad areas.
Exactly. That's but for 15,000, I'll drive it. I'll Google drive it. Not gonna drive it. I'll Google drive it.
I looked at the neighborhood there, and there's a lot of similar houses like it. It didn't look too bad.
This area reminds me of Aurora.
Apparently, this
Apparently what?
It's kind of in a historical district too, so.
You see, this house is boarded up. So this is definitely, this almost looks like it might have been a fire or something.
It's definitely a burnout.
Yeah.
Look at the upper floor. It's all burnt out.
Yeah, that's all black. Yeah. So, but other than that, a lot of these other areas, it just looks like an older area. But, it'd be an interesting conversation. And it might be for something different, Scott. This might even be worth finding a flip our house partner who wants to do the work on it. I can tell you, there's no way this thing is a $50,000 renter, though. You can't. I'll give you an extra $5,000 back if you can do it for less than 50,000, quality and to code, because I don't see that happening. I mean, we've got complete renovation gut jobs being done right now as we speak, and they're not at today's prices of lumber and everything else. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah, of course,
300 square feet too on top of it. Come on, 3,300 square feet probably can't even draw all that thing for 20 grand.
Yeah, yeah, and she bought it for 15,000.
She bought it for 15. See, I wonder if there's something foundationally too that's wrong with the home. They don't just like just give me my money back out of it. Let me get out of this thing. But
yeah, I'm gonna gather some more information.
Yeah, get some information. To be honest, Scott, I am interested from a couple regards. I do like the space of the home, and I like the size. At 3,300 square feet, we could probably make 6 bedrooms out of that home, easy. 6 good-sized, comfortable bedrooms, 8 bedrooms, who knows, maybe more. The basement might be included in that, but that would still put you at 2,200 square feet, which is plenty of room for 6 bedrooms, 5 or 6. So I like this from that regard. If the area is safe enough for our community, right? And I'm not saying it is or isn't. I don't know enough yet. That's where Jeff might really be able to help us understand, right? Then secondly, but if not that, I might be interested just from a flip perspective, assuming that the house is not saturated with mold, foundation cracks, issues. There's like why, $15,000 is trying to get your money back seems odd to me. Like, why not make something on it more than the land? Just seems odd. Something just seems off. But I don't like to go down the path of everything is too good to be true, because you'll miss every great deal and amazing deal in life if you go with that mindset. So the key is take a look at it, see what makes sense. Do some due diligence if things start pointing in the right direction, right? Because for 115,000, I mean, I'm going to put 15,000 to buy it, and then 100,000. I might be interested, right? And even if I could sell it for 200 and walk away with 70 grand, get out of the bad neighborhood. I don't know, but I'm definitely interested. We've got some resources that need to be put to use. So. Cool. All right. I do have to run. I've got our QA call coming up, but thank you everybody for jumping on here today. I look forward to seeing you guys on Monday. One last reminder, Monday and Thursday starts next week. So new schedule, Mondays, 11 Pacific, Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific. Cool. In the meantime, have an awesome weekend. Thanks everybody for jumping on.
Good weekend.
Recording stopped.